What's up, guys? I'm really excited to leave work. I'm just getting out of the office now, and I'm super pumped to leave because I finally get to share with you one of my vehicles. Now, my Streetcar, what has inspired me to start Streetcar Shenanigans, which keeps me in the loop with a bunch of my Mustang friends and Streetcar friends, is my 91 notchback. Now, you guys haven't really seen much of it because I blew it up before I started Streetcar Shenanigans. I split the block. It was a 347, AFR headed, Super Vic, carbed, TKO 500 banger car. Wicked badass, I loved it. However, I split the block in it last year. But my daily driver is a pretty fun car too. I bought it out of impulse. It's a 2015 Focus ST. I bought it when I needed a car, and I splurged a little bit on it, and I really have fallen in love with it. I love it so much. It gets decent gas mileage for what it is. Turbo 4-cylinder. Doesn't get the greatest gas mileage. It's not a hybrid like I've been driving as a rental car. We'll get to that. So I have had it for about a year. I love it, and at the time that I've had it for a year, it's now been about 18 months, almost 2 years that I've had it. I had a small issue. It was very cold outside. It was Christmas-ish. I was doing some Christmas shopping, and I was driving the car admittedly harder than I probably should have been in the conditions it was in. I passed somebody, and all of a sudden when I got to the next stoplight, the car developed a pretty bad miss at idle. Or throughout that, it had a miss, totally missing one cylinder. So I get home, I limp it home, do a compression test on it, and it did have a really bad miss. It was like 72 pounds or something in cylinder 4. And that's what kind of started the ST saga. So now I've had, this is December of 2014 that I blew it up, and it is now, right now, as I'm recording this, June 28th, 2018, I didn't think about that, June 28th, 2018, and I got it back. So what happened in between then and now? Let's just recap really quick. So I blew it up. Had a broke a piston, damaged the head slightly. So when they got it, they gave me a rental car, which is great. They took care of, Ford warranty took care of it. I really appreciate that. So I had no complaints about the dealership, the people who worked on the car. The first time, we'll get to that. I bring them the car, they put a motor in it. Takes them maybe 80 days to put a motor in it, get it running. Kind of a long time. Most of the time was with the Ford warranty, getting everything clearanced and checking everything and making sure it's all right before they just send you a motor to drop in. Especially because these blow up a lot, so I guess that's kind of a thing. 2-liter turbos. Dealership said they've done quite a few. Put a motor in it. I finally get the phone call that it's ready to be picked up. I'm super excited about it. It was in March, early March, and we go and we pick up the car, and I'm looking it over, and I start it up, and it's got something off with it. It's got like a slight misfire at idle. I open the hood, everything looks okay. I get in the car and I rev it up a couple times. And if you have a Focus ST, it's got a small turbo. It spools at idle. I'm not at idle, but just off idle. You stick your foot in it, it'll make a couple pounds. Didn't make any boost. I'm like, okay, well that's weird. So I said, well, who knows? Let's go drive it. So I pull out onto the main street. It does not make any boost. It's completely naturally aspirated. It's really slow. You can hear the valve timing advance, and that's about it. It was like driving a VTEC Honda. I'm like, well, this is not good. So I turned right around, went back to the dealership. That turned out just to be a hose clamp that was not fully tightened. Shit happens, but it does kind of portray the mechanic that put it together. Maybe a little sloppy, I don't know. So the misfire issue didn't go away after tightening the hose clamp. So after tightening the hose clamp, I drove it for 4 or 5 days. Was not right, had check engine lights for idle, misfires in general. Then I brought it back to the dealership the following Monday, so I had the car for like 4 days and dropped it back off. Now they've already had it for like 90 days already, and then I had it for 4, and now I'm bringing it back to them again. After they tightened the hose clamp, they had it for the misfire, and they threw a slew of parts at it. Now if you own a Focus, you know that this idle misfire on 15s and 16s is kind of like a circulating thing. People are getting them, nobody's really fixing them, nobody really knows the fix. There's like a trouble service bulletin like in the works in the background. I mean, I've talked to like 1 million people about this, and yeah, it's a known issue, but nobody really knows the issue. But my car did not do that before the engine went out. So I was finding it hard to believe that all of a sudden mine developed this problem. So they put injectors, coil packs, spark plugs, PCM. I think that's it, pretty much. They had the car for like another 35, 40 days to do all that. Gave me a rental car in the meantime, so at least I wasn't carless. and called me up and say, hey, we haven't quite figured it out yet. And I said, well, I need to go to Pennsylvania this week and I need to drive your rental car. And they said, well, we really don't want you to do that. Your car is fine, it just idles with a MisFire, so can you just take your car? And I said, yeah, I would love to take my car because I haven't had it in like 6 months or 4 months at this point. And I'm like, yes, I will take my car, that's fine. So I take my car, drive it to Pennsylvania, drive it back, and I drop it back off at the dealership. In the meantime, I put a set of summer tires on it, so I was really excited about that, but that was like the day before I brought it back to the dealership, so I haven't even really driven on my summer tires. So I drop it back off to them, and they start doing more stuff, and they finally do like and they have the car for like several weeks, and they finally do a manual compression test on it, and one of the cylinders are low on compression again. Now, not like blown up low, it was at, you know, 130 or 140 instead of 170 or 180 like the rest of them were. So it was like 40, 50 PSI down. That warranted pulling it apart and getting another short block because they put oil in the cylinder and the compression came up, which is what's strange about the whole story. So they do that, compression came up, they order another short block, maybe they wrote it off as a faulty short block from the factory, I guess, I don't know what really happened, and drops a new motor off. Now my friend, his name's George, he's the one who's like, hey, I'm putting this one together. And he goes through the whole motor, put extra time, extra effort into it. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, George, for doing that for me. And he overlooked the whole thing. He built it himself rather than having somebody else do it, and he just went and looked on it every once in a while. But he was told that the valves were all within spec except for 2 that might have been a little outside, but he found 7 that were out. 4 were too tight, 3 were too loose, and he said that's the only thing I can find that could possibly be causing this. However, it doesn't make sense that oil increased the compression due to valve settings, but it is what it is. So George put it back together. They had the car since March, let's call it late March to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm getting it back now, so it's been another 3 months. It's been a grand total of almost 7 that I've been waiting for my vehicle. So maybe even going on 8. Almost half the time that I've owned it. So I'm really excited to go back down there. So thank you for watching. I'm gonna now bring you my daily. We all kind of have some cool dailies, and I finally get to share with one of my cars. I will do a review, I'll do a walk around. I ordered some parts for it too, so we're gonna do kind of some how-to videos on the ST. And if you own an ST and you love it, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys shortly. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in a second. Now this may not be as exciting to you guys or compared to the other vehicles on our channel, but to me this is nice. I've been driving a Fusion Hybrid as my rental vehicle, and this is much better. Modifications on this car are slim. I didn't really do much to it. It's got a MagnaFlow catback exhaust system. It has 245s all the way around, and it has CPE Stage 2 engine mount and a Montoon red air filter and an RS airbox just to get a little more turbo noises. But here's my daily. There's an ST3, got the leather Recaros. Not too shabby. I like it. And it's been a long process to get it this far, so I'm glad I got it back. I'm glad it doesn't have a MisFire at idle. And we'll bring you some more information and content on it shortly. We're gonna do some modifications to it. I ordered some parts for it today. Nothing crazy. I don't really wanna tip anybody off, especially with the new motor. God forbid something happens, I don't wanna modify it at all. So some shifter modifications to make the shifter a little bit stiffer and small things like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, subscribe. I know this is just like an impromptu video. It's not really what we've been doing, but I gotta bring some more content. So I'm glad I got my daily back, and I'll bring you guys some more information on it soon. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.